Ever think about how much money sales professionals leave on the table when they don't negotiate their salary?
Yeah, it's the big problem.
It costs them thousands over their careers.
Hundreds of thousands.
Yeah. Hundreds of thousands.
It impacts everything. Base pay, bonuses, commission.
Future earning potential too, right?
Absolutely.
So today, let's do a deep dive into this, the whole art of negotiation in sales.
You know, it's interesting. This isn't just about individuals losing money.
Right.
Companies can lose out, too, when they're up against a really good negotiator.
Makes sense.
The sales experts, they had a great article about this.
Oh, yeah, they broke down why it happens and how to deal with it.
Exactly.
So they gave this example like a $5,000 difference in starting salary.
Which doesn't seem like much at first glance.
No, not at all.
But over 40 years, that's over $200,000.
And that's not even counting raises and promotions.
Exactly. It compounds.
A lot of money to leave on the table.
Yeah, and it goes beyond the money itself.
Oh, how so?
It impacts how a salesperson is perceived.
Yeah. Oh, interesting.
Like what their worth is to the company.
So that starting salary really sets the tone.
Exactly.
The sales experts called this the cost of silence. Now, they talked about some fears that stop people from negotiating.
Even top performers get nervous.
What's the biggest one?
Fear of losing the offer.
Yeah, you don't want to push too hard and then not get the job.
Especially in sales where it's so competitive.
Exactly.
But here's the thing.
Okay.
The sales experts say that most of the time, a professional negotiation doesn't lead to a lost offer.
So it's expected.
It's practically encouraged in some industries.
So it's about being confident, but professional.
Right. Advocating for yourself without being pushy.
And that starts with knowing your worth.
You got to do your research.
Yeah, like what are other people making in similar roles?
Use Glassdoor, LinkedIn Salary, all those tools.
And talk to people in your network.
Knowledge is power when you're negotiating.
The more prepared you are, the more confident you'll feel.
Absolutely. It helps you avoid another big fear. Not knowing how to negotiate.
Yeah, some people just don't know the process.
They don't know the tactics, what's acceptable to ask for.
So they just take the first offer.
Exactly. They don't want to seem difficult.
It's like going into a sales pitch without practicing.
That's a great analogy.
So what do the sales experts recommend?
Role-playing. Practice your pitch with a friend or mentor.
Get comfortable with the back and forth.
Exactly. Prepare for those tough questions.
Like a dress rehearsal for the real thing.
Right.
Now, this is interesting to me because salespeople are usually so competitive. So why are they afraid to negotiate?
Well, the sales experts talk about this other fear of conflict.
Some people just don't like confrontation.
Even those who are great at sale.
They want to avoid tension, keep things harmonious.
Exactly.
But a good negotiation should be a win-win, right?
Absolutely. Both sides should feel good about the outcome.
So it's about finding that balance.
Right. And the sales experts suggest reframing the whole idea of negotiation. Instead of seeing it as a battle, think of it as a collaboration.
A discussion, not an argument.
Exactly. You're working together to find a solution.
So it's like building a partnership, both sides invested in the outcome.
I like that, a partnership.
And to do that well, you have to communicate your value effectively.
Articulate your worth.
It's not just about listing your skills. It's about showing how you can benefit the company.
Connect your experience to their needs.
Show them how you can contribute to their success.
And data is your best friend here.
Oh yeah, data's always good.
The sales experts talk about quantifying your accomplishments.
So if you've exceeded sales targets, show them the numbers.
If you brought in big clients, prove it with data.
Paint a clear picture of your past performance.
And your potential for future success.
Right. Show them what you can do for them.
And remember, negotiation isn't always about salary.
Oh, right. Sometimes the base pay is set.
Especially in big companies or startups.
But you can still negotiate other things. Like what?
Flexible work arrangements, more vacation time.
Bonuses. Professional development opportunities.
All those things can add up to a lot of value.
Yeah, that's a great point, especially for attracting top talent.
Shows you're thinking strategically about your career.
Right, you're not just focused on the immediate paycheck.
Exactly.
So we've talked about the cost of not negotiating, the fears that hold people back, and reframing negotiation as a collaborative process. But what about the actual tactics?
The nitty-gritty.
Yeah, how do you actually do it?
Well, the sales experts have some great advice on that.
And we'll dive into those specific strategies in the next part of our deep dive.
That's right, stay tuned. All right, let's get into some of those tactics.
Okay.
The sales experts talk about this idea of anchoring.
Anchoring.
Yeah, you basically want to be the first one to propose a salary range.
Oh, so don't wait for them to give you a number.
Exactly. Set the expectation early on.
So you're in control of the conversation.
Right, like setting the stage for a sales pitch.
Makes sense.
By anchoring high, But reasonably high, you're more likely to land in your desired range.
But how do you know it's reasonable? What if you go too high and they walk away?
That's where research comes in.
Okay.
You got to know your market value before you even start talking numbers.
Check those industry benchmarks.
Salary surveys, look at similar roles in your area.
Use those tools we talked about, Glassdoor, LinkedIn Salary.
Talk to recruiters, they have a lot of insight.
So it's not just about what you think you're worth, it's about what the market dictates.
Exactly.
So once you have that data, you can set a strong anchor. Now, what if they come back with a counteroffer that's lower than you want?
That's a good question.
What then?
Well, here's a powerful tactic. Silence.
Silence.
Don't feel like you have to immediately counter.
Just pause.
Yeah, take a moment, collect your thoughts.
Let the silence hang in the air.
It can be a little uncomfortable, but it works.
So instead of getting flustered, you use the silence to your advantage.
Exactly.
Makes them think, maybe reevaluate their position.
Sometimes they'll even offer a concession just to break the tension.
Oh, interesting.
In sales, sometimes you got to let the prospect come to you.
I see. Okay. So we've got anchoring, the power of silence. What else?
Another good technique is bracketing.
Bracketing.
Instead of giving a single number, you give a range.
Okay.
Like instead of saying you want $100,000, you say $95,000 to $105,000.
Gives you some wiggle room.
Exactly. Shows you're flexible, open to discussion.
Makes it feel more collaborative. Now, what if you've tried all this and they're just not budging on something?
That's tough.
What do you do?
Well, first, try to understand their perspective.
Okay.
Ask questions. Why are they holding firm on this point?
Maybe it's budget constraints?
Could be company policy, or they might just see the role differently than you do.
So try to see it from their side.
Once you understand their perspective, you can start to brainstorm other solutions.
Get creative.
Like the sales expert said, sometimes you have to think beyond salary.
Right. If they won't move on base pay, maybe there's something else.
A signing bonus, a better commission structure.
Maybe a guaranteed raise after you hit certain targets.
It's about finding that win-win.
Like finding the perfect solution for a tough sales prospect.
Exactly.
You both walk away feeling good about the deal.
And remember, even if you don't get everything you wanted,
Yeah.
you should still feel respected and valued.
That's a good point. It's not always about winning every single point.
It's about building a relationship, a foundation for a good working relationship. And sometimes walking away is the right move.
Oh, that's a hard one. When do you know it's time to walk away?
If they're disrespectful, not listening to your needs,
Or just not negotiating in good faith?
it might be a sign that the company culture isn't right for you.
You got to know your worth.
Don't settle for a bad situation.
The sales experts talk about having a BATNA.
Oh yeah, your best alternative to a negotiated agreement.
What does that mean?
Basically, have other options lined up.
Another job offer? A freelance project?
Maybe you take some time to learn new skills, increase your market value.
So you're not desperate. You have a backup plan.
Exactly. It gives you leverage.
You can walk away confidently knowing you'll be okay.
And often, that leads to better outcomes.
So we've talked about anchoring, bracketing, the power of silence, and having a BTNA.
Lots of good stuff.
But what's the most important thing for a successful negotiation?
I'd say confidence.
Confidence.
If you believe in yourself, if you've done your homework,
You'll be able to advocate for yourself effectively.
and remember, confidence comes from preparation.
Research, practice, visualize that successful outcome.
The sales experts have a lot of resources on this.
Oh, yeah.
They have a negotiation checklist. It's really helpful.
That's great. I'll have to check that out.
And remember, negotiation is a skill.
You can get better over time.
The more you practice, the more comfortable you'll become.
And it's not just about salary. These skills will help you in all areas of your life.
Absolutely.
So to wrap up this part of our deep dive, let's remember, negotiation is not about being aggressive or confrontational.
It's about knowing your value,
Communicating it effectively.
working together to find a solution that benefits everyone.
Now, for those of you who lead sales teams or hire salespeople, remember that negotiation starts way before the formal offer.
It's an ongoing process.
So how do you set the stage for a successful negotiation?
Be transparent. Yeah.
Be upfront about the salary range, what's negotiable.
Right, from the start.
It makes things so much smoother.
It really does.
Nobody likes that awkward dance where you're both afraid to say a number.
Exactly. Transparency builds trust.
And don't just focus on salary.
Right. Think about the whole package.
What else does this candidate value?
Flexibility, professional development.
Good company culture, all that stuff matters.
The sales experts call it negotiating the whole package.
I like that.
It's about finding that sweet spot. What really motivates this person?
A truly personalized offer.
Exactly.
Now, for those of you leading sales teams, you need to be just as good at advocating for your team as you are for yourself.
Absolutely. You got to be their champion.
Show them that you value their work, you're invested in their success.
But it can be tough when you're dealing with higher-ups.
Right. How do you effectively negotiate for your whole team?
Preparation is key.
Okay.
Just like individual salespeople need to do their research.
Sales leaders need to do their homework too.
You need data to back up your requests.
Show them the numbers. Prove your team's impact.
Quantify those wins like the sales experts always say.
Don't just say they're doing great. Show them the ROI.
Exactly. Highlight individual achievements.
But also emphasize the team's overall contribution.
Hitting those sales targets, exceeding quotas.
Driving revenue.
And don't forget those non-monetary benefits.
The professional development, the team building.
Flexible work arrangements, those things make a difference.
They boost morale, increase productivity.
It all goes back to the bottom line.
It's about creating that environment where people thrive.
Where they feel valued and supported.
That's definitely worth fighting for.
It is.
Okay, so we've covered a lot today.
From individual negotiations to leading a team.
As we wrap up this deep dive into the art of negotiation, what's the one thing you want our listeners to remember?
Negotiation is not a bad thing.
It's essential.
It's a skill, a powerful tool.
One that everyone in sales needs to master.
Whether you're just starting out or you're running the whole show.
Embrace it, practice it, make it work for you.
It can unlock your earning potential.
Increase your influence, drive your success.
It all comes down to negotiation.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
And remember, the sales experts have a ton of resources on this.
Right, that negotiation checklist.
Check it out. It's really helpful.
And as always, we'd love to hear from you.
What are you struggling with when it comes to negotiation?
Share your experiences, your insights.
Let's keep this conversation going.
That's it for today's deep dive into the art of negotiation.
Thanks for joining us.
We'll see you next time.